Hey everyone, how are you today? I hope you're all well. So I'm in the kitchen again this morning, but not for long because it's a beautiful day out there and I can't wait to race back down to the kitchen garden and do a little bit more work. I'm going to make hay while the sun shines. So because I'm going to be on the plot all day, I thought I'd make my favourite lunch. And it's something I do, oh gosh, I do it at least once a week. I have it for a couple of lunches during the week because it's so easy to make. It carries really easily in my backpack to work or wherever. It's dead nutritious. It's really easy to digest. So for instance at work, if I'm going to be on the go straight away after lunch, it just means that I don't get that kind of sort of carb slump in the afternoon. It's got tons of protein in it, so for us veggies out there, it's a really important meal. And more than that, it tastes really yummy. So I'm going to show you, portion-wise, this makes about 2 really good lunches. You could just double up to make 4 lunches or 3 hearty suppers. I quite often have it for supper as well. Again, because if I'm eating quite late after work, it's not too taxing on my body to digest it. So let me see if I can angle you to have a look at the ingredients. Let's just have a little squiz down here. Like I say, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. So the main ingredients, rice and beans. So with the beans, let me just show you. Actually, today we've got chickpeas and bolotis. Sometimes I do 2 or 3 beans, sometimes a couple of beans and a chickpea. I actually forgot last night to soak anything other than the chickpeas and the beans. So because they've been dried for storage over winter, this is from last sort of September, October's harvest, they've had a soak overnight and then this morning they've had a simmer for the required amount of time. Different beans, chickpeas, whatever, they have a different sort of simmering time. I won't bother giving you all the timings right now because it's different for all the different beans, but if you go online, there's loads and loads of guides as to how long to simmer for. So they've had their simmer, they're cooked, brilliant. The rice I've already actually cooked to speed things up, but I'll just show you. So I prefer to use a mixture of brown rice, red Camargue rice, and either black rice or wild rice. When I buy them, I'll buy a bag of each and then sort of tip them into my big jar, mixing them as I go. So I had to pick these out and separate them to show you them. Now the thing is, the wild and black and red Camargue rices, they're all really quite expensive. They're about 3 or 4 times more expensive than brown rice. So realistically, I think this year, once they've run out, it's going to be just plain brown rice, just for affordability. Having said that, having said plain brown rice, one of the reasons I use the brown, apart from that it's got more nutrition than white, is the fact that for me, I just think it has way more taste. You've got that kind of slight nuttiness, and also it has a bit more bite and chew, which I think if you're trying to have some meat-free meals in the week, I think one of the things that meat eaters miss is having a chew. You know, a lot of veggie recipes are quite soft, shall we say. So yeah, have your brown rice. So the rice and beans, main ingredients. Then I chop a red onion, and I'm really down to the last of my red onions now. So I think in about, probably in sort of 2 to 4 weeks, I'm going to have to be buying red onions for the first time in 10-11 months. I'm not looking forward to spending money on vegetables that I can grow, but there we go. So I've done extra this year in the allotment so that hopefully they'll see me through for a year. For the dressing, I use a lemon, a couple of cloves of garlic, because I love my garlic. And then for the oil, I'm using sesame oil, toasted sesame oil. Walnut oil works really well as well. They just have that sort of richer, nuttier flavour than, say, plain olive oil. But again, it's way more expensive than, you know, sort of bog standard olive oil. So when this one runs out, unless I get some for Christmas or my birthday, it's going to be plain olive oil again for me. And then finally, when it's all made and the dressing's on, I like at the end to add a sprinkle of my pumpkin and sunflower seeds. These get stored in the fridge, so if it's just kind of misting up a bit because I brought it out of the fridge. I store them in the fridge because the oils in them, if they're stored too warm, they can go rancid, which, well, you don't want anything to go rancid, but you don't want all that hard work of growing and harvesting to then have your food go rancid. So, as I say, that's ingredients for, it's going to make about 2 lunches. Excuse the siren in the background, I live in a city. In terms of the of beans, I do about half a cup of each. So when they're dry, it's more like 2/3 of a cup, because obviously they need to swell overnight with the in their water. And then with the rice, again, it's about half a cup uncooked, which then once it's cooked, it fluffs up to about 1.5 cups. No, about a cup. So that's my cooked rice. And honestly, it couldn't be simpler. This is a kind of chuck it together recipe. Like I say, it's dead quick and easy. It's even quicker and more easy if you forget to soak your beans overnight and forget to get them simmered. You can now buy tins of mixed pulses. It used to be something that you would only find in health food shops, but I have noticed in supermarkets these days that you can actually buy a tin of mixed pulses. So I would say 1 tin with your half cup of rice, that's probably enough for 2. So I'm literally just going to combine everything. The onions still are packing a punch and smell great. It amazes me actually that I can store these onions for so long, and then when I cut into them, they're still as sort of juicy and fragrant and pungent and, oh God, that's so good, as they were when I picked them back last July. So just give it a quick scrudge around. The colours are lovely too. Oh, I love it. Purple and brown food. Okay, so just set that aside a second. And let's make the dressing. Honestly, it couldn't be easier. So I've got an old jam jar, not an old jam jar, what was it? I think it was years ago, it's pesto. I'm not really a fan of vinegar. However, this dressing would work perfectly well with vinegar too. I prefer the kind of zing and the slightly fresher taste of a lemon. Oh, give that a good scrudge. There we go. Scrudgy dodgy. Pop that in the jar. And then the reason I do the lemon first is because I want roughly an equal amount of oil, and obviously a lemon is going to come up different every time. So now that's in, just to add the oil. Yeah, that's about equal. Oh, and the best bit, the garlic. Unfortunately, last year my garlic was a total and utter washout. I think I must have planted 120, 150 cloves, of which when I came to harvest, about 40 were usable. The rest had got rot. They were absolutely manky and vile. So I'm just going to use the crusher and then back of knife, not your cutting edge. Yeah, so I've had to, gosh, I think even since about September, I've been having to buy garlic, and it really does, like I say, it behoves me to have to pay for something that in theory I should be easily able to grow. Never mind. Garlic on our site is notoriously difficult. We seem to have this rot everywhere. So maybe the new bed they're in this year will make the difference. Now the thing about doing it in the jar is then you give it a good old shake up. And then look, that helps it all to emulsify. So like I say, it's absolutely the easiest, peasiest, lemoniest, squeeziest recipe you can imagine. What I won't do at the moment is I'm not going to dress it now because I'll divvy this out into a couple of portions. Actually, let's see you again. It's weird when you're just kind of having a disembodied voice talking from a bowl. Yeah, I will divvy it into a couple of portions. Take a portion with me to the allotment with my little jar of dressing. And in another little teeny tiny pot, I'll take my sprinkles. And then, I don't know, about 1 o'clock this afternoon, when the sun's beating down and I'm tired from all the digging, I'm going to pop into the shed and have myself a gorgeous, gorgeous lunch. The smell of this is actually making me salivate now because of the red onions. So give it a go. And this year, if you haven't tried drying your beans before, have a go whereby just leave the beans on the vines until sort of mid-October. It depends if you're going to have really, really, really wet weather, you might not want to. But once they're dry, mostly dry on the vine, and there's a bit of a rattle to them if you shake them, take them off the vine, bring them home, pod them, lay your beans out on a tray in a single layer, and either pop them in an airing cupboard if you've got one, or as I do here, I pop them into my south-facing window, so I've got deep windowsills, so I pop them there to give them a last thorough dry. Pop them in an airtight jar. They store perfectly well for the whole winter. I'm just having a look now, I would say I've got enough dry produce in terms of beans and chickpeas to see me easily through till the end of August, if not beginning of September. They will, over the summer, be supplemented by green beans, but what it means is by the time they run out, the new harvest of dried beans should be coming in. And actually last year was a bit of a disaster with the beans because of my neighbour's jungle hiding all the snails. So if I can manage it with last year's disaster, I should be even better off this year. So if you've not done it before, give it a go. Just leave a few of your beans to dry. Let them dry, check out online the boiling, simmering times, and just have an experiment, see how it goes. So I'm going to say cheerio for now. I will catch up with you all soon, but for now, I'm off to the garden.